Welcome to AWS Review, a weekly look at what's happening at AWS and how it may change how you do business. I'm your host, Michael Krause. I am the Chief Technology Officer at Charter Solutions, where we help organizations change and innovate quickly by accelerating their acquisition and use of data.
And sorry. Go ahead. I'm your co-host, John Affolter. I'm a lead technical architect in the AWS specialist team at Salesforce, where I work with potential customers, helping them envision the possibilities that AWS and Salesforce enables. Sorry, Michael, I cut you off there.
Oh, no, you didn't cut me off. It was your spot to go. So excellent. So I think, first thing is, as we are going here, if anybody is attending live and listening to us, feel free to add comments and questions to the chat. And any questions that show up, we'll make an attempt to answer. So just let us know. So how are things going since we last chatted, John?
Pretty good. I'm finally getting out, enjoying the Midwest summers. I was out at a lake in Spooner, Wisconsin last weekend with some friends. It's beautiful out there. I really like the drive. I like the drive in the river valley and, just the rolling hills and all the farms and the green and, definitely makes you understand why we put ourselves through this through these winters that we do. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been going fairly well for me. The only thing that I've been running into is that just at the last minute, as we're getting ready to do our live stream, my normal camera decided not to work. So for everybody who's watching, the scene's a little bit different. I'm using my webcam. I apologize. Hopefully we get the other camera working for next time.
Yeah, no, it's always in the demo, right? Always in the demo.
Always in the demo.
But yeah, so before we move into the topic of the day, which is AWS Pretrained Services, kind of the higher level AWS services, let's take a look at what's been happening at AWS last week.
Excellent. So one of the new announcements is that AWS Lambda has now has support for attribute-based access control. So basically what this means is now using IAM policies, you can now interrogate tags on your Lambdas and provide access to those Lambdas based on the values of tags, not just on policies assigned to roles and things like that. So it gives you a little more flexibility and a little more fine-grained control over Lambda access.
Yeah, no, I think that will definitely help out, especially if you're, working with a lot of different microservices too. It's definitely could help out with some of that. Maybe that's some of that observability too. And
yes, absolutely.
Also Amazon Fraud Detector launched a account takeover insights, or ATI, as AWS loves their acronyms, but it basically is a low latency fraud detection model that is specifically designed to detect accounts that have been compromised. So, whether that's through stolen credentials, phishing, or, the most common social engineering. And once that account is taken over, it helps detect that a lot quicker and a lot faster than the traditional rules-based account takeover solution. So minimizing that level of friction for the legitimate users. Sorry, a word, a lot of stuff to talk about there. But I think this is pretty cool and definitely helps out with companies that want to add this capability, or smaller banks that might not have previously invested into a very expensive account takeover solution. So kind of a serendipitous time, right? As we're covering a lot of this, we're going to go through Fraud Detector later, but definitely a cool update from AWS.
Yeah, that is very cool. And it's nice to see AWS is constantly improving the tooling that's available to us and what they're doing behind the scenes to make our accounts, our data, our systems much more secure. I learned a few years ago that, and I never knew this, they did this, is that Amazon regularly scans code in public code repositories for things like access keys and stuff like that for AWS, and notifies you if it finds them. So they've got a lot of stuff, even things that may not be as known as others. So the other news that's interesting to share is we recently had Amazon Prime Day. And you might ask, well, what does Amazon Prime Day have to do with AWS? Well, Amazon.com runs on AWS. And every year after Amazon Prime Day, they share some statistics about how it went with regard to AWS. And you can find this information out on the AWS News blog. There's a whole blog post about it. But we thought we'd highlight a few things because it's always fun to look at the scale of stuff. So, a couple of interesting stats. So, Prime members worldwide purchased more than 100,000 items per minute during Prime Day.
Wow.
That's a fairly high transaction load. They leverage Amazon Aurora for running Amazon.com. 5,326 Aurora database instances running either Postgres or MySQL out there. They processed 288 billion transactions on Aurora, storing 1.8 terabytes of data and transferring almost 750 terabytes of data in that process.
That is, well, you can never say that Aurora cannot handle scale, huh? Right?
Yeah, exactly. They definitely are handling scale there. Amazon SES, a simple email service, which Amazon.com uses to send out things like notifications of something you might be interested in being available, confirmations of orders, things like that. They peaked at about 33,000 email messages per second being sent. It's just kind of insane.
It's hard to wrap your head around that much scale.
Yep, they set a new traffic record with SQS, Simple Queue Service, by processing 70.5 million messages per second at the peak.
Jeez.
And with DynamoDB, various sources made trillions of calls to the DynamoDB API, and it maintained high availability while delivering single-digit millisecond responses and peaking at about 105 million requests per second.
Jeez.
So yeah, as we're over here going, I need to run like 20 of these a day.
Yeah.
We're doing 105 million per second. Yeah, there's some scale there. So it's always fun to go to see that stuff, and I strongly recommend people go out and read the entire post. There's a lot more information in there, a little more detail, but these were some interesting and fun highlights.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Probably some cool visualizations that could come out of that.
Yeah, they have a couple of charts in the post too, and they do. There's a couple of spots where they look back historically.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've been doing this since 2016, posting these things every year. So it's interesting to see how it's been growing. All right, so we're going to move on to our main topic here. We keep things moving today because we do. John and I both have a hard stop at 1, so we want to get this information out to you. So today we're looking at AWS AI Pretrained Services, and this is kind of a first in a series around artificial intelligence and machine learning on AWS. We've done a number of sessions recently, more on data processing, data ingestion. And now we want to do a little bit of a kind of a survey across what is available from an AI ML perspective on AWS. And today we want to dig into a set of high-level services that AWS provides that are either pre-trained or partially trained, ready for you to add your data to, do things. But the idea is these are things that automate the use of AI and ML in your particular needs without you having to go through and do all the work of building your own ML models, deploying those, all of those things. And AWS has about 20 of these pre-trained AI ML services that you can leverage to accelerate your work. And because we've got 20 things we're going to talk about, this is really going to be more of a survey. John and I are going to go through them, share what they are, bounce back and forth. We'll be watching the comments if anybody has questions. And in the future, we may take some of these and do some deep dives on them to dig into them a little bit more. But John, do you want to start out with the first one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and like Michael said, these are these are really geared towards people that might not have a deep machine learning background. It's not like we're going and diving into object to vec or any of that. So these are the services that a business analyst could potentially be able to leverage machine learning for. So the first one that I want to go over is the augmented AI, which is very similar to Ground Truth or Ground Truth Plus, but it's a machine learning service that makes it easy to build workflows that require human review as part of the development process. So that could be, labeling things, that could be, looking at different sentiment and defining if it's correct or not. So, there's a lot of different use cases that could come from this, and augmented AI is kind of their new spin on Ground Truth and Ground Truth Plus, and being able to integrate that into a workflow. So I really think that this is something that is going to have Amazon having a lot of staying power within machine learning, because you're always going to be able to optimize your model and do it with the subject matter experts that understand your data. So definitely a really powerful tool where you can access like Mechanical Turk or a workforce or vendors that specialize in labeling data, and keep your costs low, but keep your machine learning models really operating at a high level and consistently. So definitely a cool service.
Excellent. Another service that they've got is Amazon Code Guru, and I've actually used this service. A Code Guru is a tool mainly geared towards developers, and it provides intelligent recommendations to help you improve your code quality and identifying, possible issues and expensive lines of code. It is integrated into, um, the code commit PR process. So you can actually have, when you issue a pull request on your code branch, you can have Code Guru participate and run against that code as part of that pull request. It works with Java and Python. It's powered by machine learning, and it looks across a lot of different things: lines of code that hurt performance, um, uh, resource leaks and race conditions, things like that. It works pretty well, and I'm happy to say that I'm surprised at how few recommendations I've got. It's either not working right or actually write better code than I think. So,
Mhm. Yeah, that's always I think this is one it's just going to keep getting better over time.
oh, absolutely. The more people use it, the more feedback it'll get, and it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And this is one I added, and it's not necessarily an ML service, but it brings in other services, and that's Amazon Connect. So I know you have experience with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's for customer support call centers, and it ingests audio data from recorded calls. You could search on calls, different chats, sentiment analysis. You can figure out where a call went right, and where they found a certain solution, and you can help build that into your other services that it might be ingesting. So definitely a cool concept and a cool service, and also it integrates with Salesforce as well. So
Yep.
and other services. So definitely one that I thought was worth mentioning as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's more of what they refer to as kind of a higher level business solution,
Yep.
because it's a call center system. But what's really cool is they've got a lot of integration, both internally with their own AI ML services that we're talking about here, like things for doing transcription and stuff like that. They also integrate with a number of third parties, same way.
Yep.
So the next one we've got on our list is Amazon Comprehend. So if you wanted to try to get an understanding of what kind of information is in text, this is a natural language processing service, and it uses machine learning to uncover some insights out of textual information. So looking at social media, emails, web pages, etc. There is a comprehend medical that can look at medical records. It can extract specific key phrases. entities. You can look for sentiment within those things. You can classify documents. You can train it on your own data. The Amazon Comprehend Medical is HIPAA eligible. So if you want to be able to look at potential PHI data as part of this process, Amazon Comprehend Medical is right there for you.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about how this is going to advance, or just medicine in general, and be able to really build a patient-centric, environment to where you're getting people prescriptive medicine based on, their history, and also, eventually with genomics as well. So the next one is Amazon Forecast, which there's a ton of really cool use cases that could come from that. But it's a time series forecasting service, and obviously based on machine learning and built for business metrics. So it's fully managed, and you can also utilize the Auto ML feature, which helps choose the best model for your time series data and runs through a bunch of different hyperparameters and runs through a bunch of different types of models and picks the best one. So really, really accelerating your ability to create good models really quickly and not have to lean on a very advanced data science team to do that. So anything where you can leverage Auto ML as well is going to really improve your speed to market with your models, and just being able to get it out quickly, fail fast if you need to, and adjust. So definitely a service that's going to be utilized in a lot of different capacities.
Right. Do you know if they use Amazon Forecast as part of the forecasting capabilities within QuickSight yet?
I believe that they were I don't want to answer that. I believe that they were using certain parts of it to. I think certain parts are built into QuickSight.
Okay, it might be worthwhile digging into that a little more and seeing what's happening there. Let's see, Amazon Fraud Detector. We mentioned this earlier as part of the new stuff when we were talking about the account kind of takeover detection. So Amazon Fraud Detector allows you to build and deploy and manage fraud detection models without having to have previous machine learning experience. So you can upload your own historical fraud data as part of this. It will build custom models for you from templates and provides an API then that your application can leverage to help you with fraud detection. So you can assess risk from things like new accounts, guest checkouts, try before you buy abuse, online payments, all kinds of different things. So it greatly simplifies, especially for people who are getting into fraud detection as part of their business services, greatly simplifies getting there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that, the try before you buy abuse is pretty cool, and definitely something that maybe smaller organizations wouldn't think about, and might be a very complicated thing to implement. So the next one's Amazon Health Lake. So it's a HIPAA eligible service offering healthcare and life sciences companies to offer a complete view of the individual or patient population health data. So you can query and do those analytics at scale. Probably a cool one to, on our topic last week with data exchange, a lot of different ways where you might be able to play with data and utilize that population health data for, social determinants of health, etc. So I haven't had much experience with Amazon Health Lake. I don't know if you have, Michael. But
I've done some digging into it for a couple of potential clients, but haven't had a chance to work with it hands-on. But it's, again, it just shows, like a lot of other organizations, Amazon's right up there recognizing the need for healthcare to modernize more and trying to provide better infrastructure for that is secure and compliant.
Oh, absolutely.
So the next item on the list, Amazon Kendra. So Kendra is a highly accurate intelligent search service that's powered by machine learning. There's no servers to provision, no ML models to build, train, or deploy. It's all kind of taken care of for you. It allows enterprise search via natural language. So, for example, where is the IT help desk? How do I connect to my VPN? Things like that. It's really cool because it combines data from file systems, SharePoint, intranets, various sharing services into one searchable repository. And unlike, the kind of the full text indexing type approaches that you might find with traditional search engines, this is ML powered. So it incorporates things like feedback on whether or not I'm providing you the right answers, kind of thumbs up, thumbs down. It allows relevance tuning. So it allows you to take, a collection of information you already have and make it searchable and usable very quickly.
Yep. And, I think that being able to provide that thumbs up, thumbs down, similar to QuickSight Q, you're improving the model over time, and it's only going to keep getting better. And I think that this is one that, especially with just search services and being able to add your input on the model, I think is going to really improve the usability over time. So definitely another cool one.
Yep.
Next one is Amazon Lex, which is a fully managed AI service. It uses NLP to design, build, test, and deploy conversational interfaces and applications. So really kind of like the inner workings of Alexa. It's, a chatbot engine, and it's built around intent. So also utterances will invoke intents. Like I want to order, I want to order a pizza, and then you have different options to have slots to have different inputs on that intent. So, how big do you want it? What is the crust? Is there a certain delivery time or anything else? Any other input you could put as slots as a choice. So over time, you're building a really a corpus of intents and user requests and phrases that you can build and integrate with your Amazon Connect over time, and then build that in your Amazon Connect transcripts. So another place where that will help, it'll help to optimize your Connect experience as well. So
Excellent. So the next set of items we're going to look at all fall under the moniker of Amazon Lookout, and I'll start with the first one, which is Amazon Lookout for equipment. Now, this one is kind of close to my heart because of my IoT experience. What it does is it analyzes data from sensors on your equipment to automatically train a machine learning model based on just your data, specifically for your equipment. No ML expertise required. And then it can use your unique ML model to analyze incoming sensor data in real time and quickly identify early warning signs that could lead to machine failures. Wow, my tongue's not working well today.
yeah, I'm in the same way. No worries.
Yeah, and coming from someone who has done a lot of integration with sensors, collected a lot of data, and written machine learning models to predict things from that data in real time, boy, this would make my life a lot easier.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'll jump into the next one here. Amazon Lookout for metrics. So, again, using machine learning to automatically detect and diagnose some anomalies that come out. So any outliers, whether that's in business or operational data, such as, a sudden dip in sales revenue or customer acquisition rates. So really adding kind of the business and operational tasks to it as well. So it's interesting. I would want to know how this might tie into other services possibly. And, I know that it's really just focused on the industries, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think what's interesting is on the metric side, it could be cross industry, and it's kind of the scenario of what actions do you want to take when you see these things, and I think it's more interesting to consider with regard to operational data. So when you think about manufacturing, right, and you think about production scheduling and things like that, and how do you watch for things that are going to potentially cause a problem,
Hmm.
right? And more importantly, how do you figure out the leading indicators, right? It's one thing to say, oh, the problem has occurred, now we have to deal with it. The other thing is, how do we look across all the different metrics and say, oh, a problem is going to occur? How do
Yep.
we get ahead of it, right?
Yeah, and that is something that I know is built into QuickSight in a way where just the anomaly detection and being able to diagnose the anomaly and dig into it from there.
Right. And this makes it, takes that same thing and makes it available via an API call, basically.
Yep.
So the last Lookout one is Amazon Lookout for Vision. Now, what's interesting here is this ML solution allows you to spot product defects using computer vision and automate quality inspection. So if you've got a manufacturing floor where you're producing widgets of whatever kind, this can be used to basically train a model that can identify widgets that are out of spec based on visual inspection. So detects abnormalities based on that sensor data, um, and use computer vision to detect things in all kinds of things from circuit boards to silicon wafers to you know pump fittings, if you want.
Yeah, no, and I think this one is really cool. I know that there's a lot of different manufacturers that, very advanced manufacturers that have spent a lot of time and money trying to develop something like this. And now it's just available for, really democratize some of these capabilities to, kind of your mid-sized manufacturing companies that it's really important to have this, but it might have been too expensive to implement it in the past.
Absolutely.
Um, do you want to do the Monotron one as well?
Sure. Sure. So Amazon Monotron is, and again, I'm going to speculate here, so please listen to me carefully. Speculate that Monotron ties into some of the other tools like Amazon Lookout for equipment, or any of the others where we're watching what's happening. But what Monotron does is it helps you reduce unplanned equipment downtime with predictive maintenance. So the idea is leveraging the ML models and the data that's coming in to predict when a machine might fail. And I've been part of projects where we've done this not with machine learning, but with statistical models and regression models, where we've taken a look at data and uh, based on that, rolled a field tech out, issued a ticket for a field tech to go out and swap a board or swap a motor before the thing fails. And it was interesting that a lot of interesting information can go into this. There was a study, I believe it was by IBM, quite a number of years ago, that found if you take a look at the textual information and comments on repair tickets and things like that, you can actually find enough information in there to basically improve your predictive maintenance by a significant factor, right? So looking at not just machine data, but looking at other information, it's pretty powerful tools that are out there now. So Monotron allow you to do predictive maintenance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that you had to do that all from scratch. So I think it's another great tool to democratize. The next one is Amazon Personalized. So they say this is the one that the same one as Amazon uses. I think Amazon might add a couple tweaks here or there, but it's basically a personalization engine. So it's what Amazon.com uses for those real-time personalized recommendations. To utilize this Amazon Personalized, you don't need any ML expertise. It's fully managed. You have API access. There's different SDKs that you can utilize. It will give you a lot of different types of recommendations and also connected content, and you can connect that all together. So you can really give a really robust experience with your recommendation engine. So not just bringing up a certain product, but also some other content that might be connected to it as well. So definitely one that is heavily used or utilized by Amazon themselves, and one that you can get all that same capability and do that without any machine learning capability or with any machine learning experience. So
Yeah, and that's there was a period of my life where I was involved in the early days of rolling out recommendation engines and personalization on e-commerce sites and in call centers, working with companies like Net Perceptions and things like that. And the amount of plumbing we had to put in place
mm,
to get the Net Perceptions engine or the other engines properly populated so that they could produce recommendations, get the plumbing to manage all those servers, get that integrated in was massive. So now you've got a service where basically it will you start providing it the right data, it will train itself and it will give you the recommendations. The infrastructure is already there. You don't have to build that out. That's really powerful.
oh, absolutely.
So the next item is Amazon Polly. So Amazon Polly is a service that turns text into lifelike speech. So it allows you to create applications that talk and build entirely new categories of speech-enabled products. It uses neural text to speech, and they've got a ton of voices and languages supported today. Um, you can leverage lexicons to provide custom pronunciations of specific words and phrases. Um, and do expansion of acronyms, things like that.
Hmm.
It's a pretty cool tool, and I'm surprised nobody has actually come out and hit the market hard with the universal translator yet to leverage speech to text translation and then text back to speech again.
Yep. No, and just being able to add the lexicons and add all the personalization too is that's pretty cool, and making it really like a natural, whether it's pausing or speech rate, and to be able to leverage that is really improves that experience, makes it more human.
And I
Um,
believe they've got some pre-built lexicons for specific industries like medical and legal and such, where they have very specific terminology that they use.
yep. Yeah. So the next one this one's a hot topic. I think there's a lot of different ways that you can leverage this, but Amazon recognition. So offers pre-trained and also customizable computer vision to be able to extract information and insights on your images and videos. So, getting data from Kinesis video streams and being able to, you know, do facial recognition, which is definitely a hot topic, has some ethical things connected to it, how you utilize it, but or you could do something like recognize a celebrity or something like that. But you could do face comparisons, you could analyze text in an image, you can do video analysis, um, you know, really a corpus of different use cases that you could add to that, and then you could feed that information into other models or other workflows depending on what you're determining within those videos or images. So um, yeah, definitely one where it's really cool, and you can have specific labels and logos and everything specific to your use cases to be able to add in. So in 2020 they added custom labels on recognition. So you could do things like inventory analysis as well with your specific logos that you're looking for.
Very nice. Very nice. So Amazon Techstract is a machine learning service that automatically extracts text, handwriting, and data from scanned documents. So this goes beyond simple optical character recognition to identify, understand, extract data from forms, tables, etc. So once again, getting data out of scanned images is becoming more and more powerful.
Yep. No, and another one that can, has a lot of healthcare use cases. I remember I had to do something with my medical records, and my doctor's handwriting was so bad that they couldn't do anything with it. But I wonder, how that's going to evolve over time, because doctors are notorious for their bad handwriting, is what I hear. So
Yep, they are. And I used to many years ago worked for a company, and we provided OCR as a service. We sold software. I shouldn't say we didn't provide it as a service. We sold software that did it, but it was more than just your scanner software that attempted to recognize. It would also take things that had low confidence in recognition, and it would queue them up, and you could have operators, human operators, and it would show you the word, and they could just type in what the word was.
so almost like a ground truth, almost.
Yep, but they would have no visibility into the entire context, so they
Mhm.
couldn't read anything. They would just throw a word up there, and you'd be saying, "Oh, that is cow," right? So if they couldn't get it, they would actually leverage humans into the workflow to increase the accuracy of those transcriptions, or of those transcriptions.
Great. And talking about transcriptions, the next one would be Amazon Transcribe. So automatically convert speech to text from a bunch of different inputs. It could be in a specified language. There's streaming audio supported, whether it's from WebSockets or just over HTTP. Right now, it does. I don't know if they updated this, but French, English, and Spanish right now. But
For the streaming audio.
yeah, from the streaming audio. So that they might have added more languages, but it helps you be able to. You can even do two different callers at the same time. So you could classify two different callers, and you could merge things based on all those utterances that we talked about. And then also it can automatically detect language. So, that's just, another step that you do not have to take. It's automatically detects that and starts transcribing based on that specific language. You can also add custom vocabularies and different lists or tables, something that is like sounds like, or if you hear this, display this as, etc. So a lot of different cool use cases that you can do to really enhance the experience that whatever, if an agent is utilizing it or not. So
Excellent. The next one is, I think, the final item in the suite of tools needed for my universal translator that
yeah,
right? Amazon Translate. So Amazon Translate is a neural machine translation service that delivers fast, high quality, affordable, and customizable language translation. So it uses deep learning for this translation. It supports custom terminology, and it's appropriate. Does appropriate work for proper names, brand names, etc. It's a pretty cool tool if you need to take text from one language to another.
yeah, absolutely. And I'll route us off here with our last service. We flew through those pretty well, but the last one is AWS Panorama. So it's a collection of machine learning devices and an SDK that's connected to it. So you can bring computer vision to your on-premise IP cameras that you already have. So really making all of your cameras that you're already utilizing be able to run machine learning workloads on it, and have the SDK connected to that. So, another really cool one with a lot of different use cases, from security to operational quality as well, I think. So
Excellent. And we've only got a couple of minutes left. So we've kind of gone through these really quick, and I appreciate everybody bearing with us as we went through. It's kind of a quick survey. There's a lot here, and I think it's important that people be aware of them, because there's a lot of ways these things can be assembled to create, some great solutions for an organization. And there's a lot of things here that you may not think that you can do, or that you're going to have to do manually, that are already done for you. So a lot of opportunity here to enrich the systems that you build and the services that you provide as a business.
No, absolutely, and a special shout out to Frank Kane for his Udemy courses that helped give me a lot of really good information, and also a cool insight that I never knew. So they say that Kendra is Alexa's sister. So I never. So,
Love it.
so thanks, Frank.
I love it. All right. Well, watch this space for future, um, AI ML capability on AWS. We're going to start chasing through a few episodes on that. But that's all we've got for you today. Thank you for joining. We hope you learned something new, and we hope that that this will help, make some development that you want to do easier. If you like what you heard, please subscribe, send us comments, and if anybody out there listening would like to be a guest, please let us know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if there's any of these services that you would like to see a deeper dive on, definitely let us know in the comments. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
All right. Until next time, thank you all.